Princess Leora, of the Aeleri Empire, stood on the wide balcony of the palace, her silver eyes watching the landing platform far below. The young princess was only 19, full of pride, confidence, and a sharp tongue that many in the palace secretly feared. She had been raised since childhood to believe her people were superior to all others, especially humans. Humans were called unpredictable, too emotional, too physical, and too simple to understand the advanced ways of her world. Today, she expected to meet one of them. She crossed her arms and lifted her chin as the small human shuttle descended. Leora pretended she was not nervous, but she felt something strange in her chest. Humans rarely came to her planet. Even more rare was a human being invited directly into the palace. But the planetary shield that protected her world from dangerous cosmic storms was failing. For the first time in 200 years, the Empire needed help from another species. That alone made her uncomfortable. The shuttle door opened slowly, and a young human stepped out. His name was Corin Hayes, an engineer from Earth. He looked calm and quiet, dressed in simple work clothes, nothing grand or expensive. He did not look like someone who could fix a system that her best engineers had failed to repair. Leora narrowed her eyes. "So this is the human Earth sent to help us?" she said under her breath. Corin walked forward with steady steps. He looked around the palace with interest. But there was no fear in his face, no nervous shaking in his hands. He stopped in front of Leora and lowered his head politely. "Princess Leora," he greeted softly. "Thank you for receiving me." Her pride rose like a wave. She had expected him to be clumsy or shy. Instead, he was calm and steady. She felt a strange irritation. Why did he look so relaxed in front of her? A princess of one of the oldest royal lines in the galaxy. "You may begin your work," she said sharply. "We are told humans are quick with their hands, even if their minds are slow." A guard behind her inhaled sharply. Another looked down, pretending not to hear. But Corin simply stood still, neither angry nor offended. His calm expression did not change. He looked directly at her, but there was no challenge in his eyes. Leora felt something spark inside her. She was not sure if it was annoyance or confusion. "You came a long way," she continued with a cold tone. "I hope you are useful. Our engineers said the system is much too advanced for outsiders." Corin did not answer right away. He only gave a small nod. Then she added, "And do not touch anything important without permission. We cannot risk a human breaking something." Her voice echoed in the large hall. Everyone expected Corin to defend himself, argue back, or at least look offended. Instead, he slowly took a breath, looked at the floor, then back at her with a gentle, almost sad expression. "I understand," he said softly. Leora frowned. This was not the reaction she expected. No anger, no excuses, no fear, just calm disappointment. Corin turned to the side and looked at the shield console across the room. The palace engineers were standing there, waiting for him to begin his work. But Corin did something that shocked everyone. He did not move toward the console. Instead, he turned around completely and walked away, quietly, calmly, without a single extra word. Leora stared at his back, eyes wide. She had seen many reactions from citizens, guards, even other nobles. But she had never seen someone simply leave after she spoke. Her body froze. For a moment, she wondered if she had misheard him. "Is he leaving?" one guard whispered. "He's walking out of the palace," another said with disbelief. Leora felt heat flood her face. First embarrassment, then a strange hollow feeling. She had insulted him many times, yet he did not argue. He did not fight back. He did not even show anger. He simply stepped away from her. It was as if her words were not worth answering. She clenched her hands. This feeling was new, uncomfortable. She was used to people reacting strongly to her words. Corin's silence felt heavier than any insult anyone had ever thrown at her. "Stop him," she ordered quickly. The guards rushed toward the doors. But Corin had already stepped onto the walkway leading out of the palace. He walked at a normal pace. Not fast, not slow, as if he was simply done with everything. Leora followed the guards, her steps fast and sharp, but when she reached the top of the stairs leading down to the city, the human was already moving through the crowded lower courtyard. "He really left," she whispered, unable to hide her shock. The head engineer approached her nervously. "Princess, if he leaves, we cannot repair the shield. He was the only one Earth could send in time." Leora said nothing. Her heart felt heavy. She remembered the short moment when Corin looked at her, not angry, not scared, but disappointed. It hurt more than she expected. She told herself it should not matter. He was just a human, but something inside her argued against her pride. The planetary shield flickered outside, glowing faintly in the daylight sky. Without repairs, it would collapse within days. The storms beyond the atmosphere would sweep across cities and oceans. Countless lives depended on fixing it, and the only person who could save them had just walked away. "Princess," the engineer said quietly, "we must find him." Leora took a slow breath. She tried to stand tall, but her voice trembled slightly. "I did not expect him to behave this way. Humans are strange," one guard said. "No," Leora whispered. "He is not strange. He is something else." She turned away from the balcony and walked back into the palace halls. Her mind was racing. She replayed the scene again and again. His calm silence, his soft voice, the way he did not need to raise his tone to make her feel the weight of her own actions. It was the first time in her life someone had made her question her behavior. She went to her private study and sat down, trying to understand why she felt uneasy. She touched her chest gently, surprised at the tension there. She had insulted many people before, none of them made her feel guilty. But Corin's quiet disappointment stayed in her mind like a shadow. Hours passed. The palace grew louder as engineers announced new warnings about the shield. Leora ignored them for a moment as she stared at her hands. "I said terrible things," she whispered to herself. "I treated him like he was nothing. And he did not even fight back." She stood quickly, unable to sit any longer. "I must find him. But where?" The human could be anywhere in the city by now. Leora walked to the window again and looked down at the busy streets. She knew nothing about humans. She had no idea where one would go after leaving the palace. A small worry crept inside her. What if he left the planet entirely? What if he returned to Earth and refused to help again? Her world would be lost. As she stared outside, she saw a flash in the sky. The shield flickered again, dimmer this time, almost transparent. The storm clouds beyond the atmosphere swirled like distant shadows. She swallowed nervously. "We need him," she whispered. "I need him." The words felt strange on her tongue, but true. She turned to her guards. "Prepare a search team. We look for the human. I will find him myself if I must." The guards bowed instantly. As she walked out of the room, one thought stayed in her heart. The human did not leave because he was weak. He left because he valued himself more than her insults. For the first time in her 19 years, Princess Leora wondered if she had just pushed away someone important, someone who might change not only her world, but also the way she saw herself, and perhaps, someone who might change her heart. Princess Leora woke early the next morning with a heavy mind. She had barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Corin's quiet expression again, the disappointment, the sadness, the calm way he walked away without raising his voice. It had been only one day, yet the palace felt different. The engineers were nervous. The guards whispered. The advisors moved quickly through the halls, their faces tense. The shield had weakened overnight. Thin cracks of soft light moved across the sky, like fading threads holding the world together. Leora stood before her tall mirror, adjusting her royal cloak, but her thoughts were not on her clothes. They were on the human who left because she had insulted him. She still did not understand why his silence felt heavier than any argument. It was as if he had shown her a reflection of herself, one she was not proud to see. A soft knock came on her door. "Enter," she said. The palace chief engineer stepped inside, holding a small device that showed a hologram of the shield's status. The lines in the image were red and flickering. His voice trembled slightly. "Princess, we have less time than we thought." Leora looked at the fading shield and felt her chest tighten. "Did anyone find the human?" "No, Princess. We searched the upper districts, the transport stations, the markets. No sign of him. She took a slow breath. I will search myself. The engineer blinked in surprise. Your Highness, that is not— I don't care about rules today, she said firmly. Our world needs him. I cannot sit inside the palace, while the only person who can save us walks somewhere out there alone. The engineer nodded with respect. Leora walked past him, her steps steady but her heart racing. The city below the palace was alive with morning activity. Small hover wagons floated across the streets. Merchants opened their shops, children hurried to academy buildings, and citizens gathered around large screens showing updates about the shield. Leora wore a simple cloak to hide her royal markings. She moved quietly through the crowd, with only 2 guards at her side. She rarely walked through the lower districts. Everything here felt closer to real life, closer to ordinary people. She felt uncomfortable, but she kept going. She asked vendors, workers, shopkeepers, and travelers the same question. Have you seen a human? Most shook their heads. Some looked surprised. Others said, no one like that had passed by. Leora almost began to lose hope until she reached a small market street, where a group of older alien women were talking excitedly. She stepped closer. I'm telling you, one said. The human fixed my heater in less than 2 minutes. Wouldn't take payment. He fixed my grandson's damaged holo toy, another added. Just smiled and said it was no trouble. But why? Asked a third. Humans usually stay near the embassy. Why is this one walking around helping strangers? Leora froze. She approached quietly. Excuse me, she said, keeping her hood low. This human, where is he now? The women pointed down a long alley that opened into another marketplace. We saw him go that direction. He was helping a child with an oxygen mask that cracked. Leora felt relief wash through her. Thank you. She followed the path, her steps quick but careful. The next marketplace was quieter and smaller. A few stalls sold tools, power cells, and simple food items. At the corner of the street, she saw a workshop with the door slightly open. Soft mechanical sounds came from inside. She stepped closer and looked through the doorway. Corin was there. He sat at a workbench, focused on a small device. The child beside him watched eagerly while he repaired the oxygen mask. Corin's hands moved calmly and smoothly. He explained each step in a gentle voice, not talking down to the child, but teaching him. Leora felt a strange warmth in her chest. He had left the palace, yet he was still helping her people. The child's mother bowed deeply when Corin handed the repaired mask back. She tried to offer him credits, but Corin shook his head. It's fine, he said softly. You don't owe me anything. Enda. Leora took a slow breath and stepped inside. Corin looked up. His eyes widened for just a moment, surprised to see her here. Dressed simply, without a crowd of guards or advisors, the child and his mother left the shop, leaving Leora and Corin alone except for her 2 silent guards at the entrance. Corin stood politely. Princess, Leora swallowed. The words she needed to say felt heavy. She had never apologized to anyone before, not sincerely, not from the heart. But now, facing Corin, she realized how difficult it truly was. Corin, she said slowly, I came to speak with you. His calm expression did not change. He waited quietly. Leora looked down for a moment, feeling something she had never felt in her life: shame. Yesterday, I spoke to you in a cruel way. I treated you as if you were beneath me. That was wrong. Corin listened without interrupting. She continued, her voice softer. I insulted your skills and your people. I acted like a child who thinks holding a crown means holding wisdom. Her hands trembled slightly. You did not deserve any of my words. Corin let out a small breath. Princess, I didn't come here for praise. I came because your planet needed help, but I also did not come to be insulted for trying. Leora lifted her eyes to meet his. I understand that now. For a moment, silence filled the small workshop. Leora felt nervous, another unfamiliar emotion for her. She waited for Corin to say something. Anything, but he only watched her with a calm, unreadable expression. She wondered if she had said too little, or too late. Finally, Corin spoke. "Do you know why I left?" She shook her head. "I thought humans would argue back." He gave a gentle smile. "Sometimes, walking away is stronger than arguing. It means we value peace and ourselves too much to let anger guide us." Leora felt those words sink into her heart. She whispered, "I didn't understand that." Corin nodded. "Now you do." Leora took a slow breath. "Corin, the shield is failing faster than expected. We need your help. My people need your help." He looked at her for a long moment, then turned toward his small workbench. The tools lay neatly arranged, everything carefully placed. It showed how calm and disciplined he was even in a simple workshop far from home. "I did not leave the city," Corin said gently. "I just needed space to think." "Will you come back?" Leora whispered, unable to hide the worry in her voice. Corin looked at her again. His expression softened. "I didn't come here to abandon your people. I only walked away because anger would have been pointless." She felt another warm wave of relief, but it mixed with regret for the way she had treated him. He continued, "If the shield is in danger, then I will help. Lives matter more than feelings." Leora nodded quickly. "Thank you. Truly." Corin picked up his small toolkit and closed the workshop door behind him as they stepped outside. The morning light reflected softly on the weakening shield above the sky. Corin looked up and frowned gently. "We must work soon," he said. "It's worse than I thought." Leora walked beside him. She kept her eyes low, feeling strangely shy. She had spoken proudly to many foreign diplomats before, but something about Corin's quiet strength made her feel different, more thoughtful, more aware of her own words. They moved through the marketplace. Some citizens recognized Corin and thanked him. Leora observed how he treated everyone with equal respect, never acting like he was better than them. It amazed her. Humans, she realized, were not what she had been taught. They reached a transport platform where a palace shuttle waited. Corin stepped inside without hesitation. Leora followed, sitting across from him. For a while, neither spoke. Then Corin broke the silence. "Princess, yesterday hurt me, but not because you insulted humans. It hurt because you judged me before knowing me." Leora lowered her gaze. "I know, and I am sorry." Corin nodded gently. "Thank you, that means something." As the shuttle lifted into the air, Leora felt a new sense of determination. She would not let her pride destroy her world, or the chance to learn from someone who lived with such quiet strength. For the first time since the crisis began, she felt hope. Corin walked into the shield control center with quiet determination. The room was wide and bright, filled with glowing panels and humming machines. Engineers rushed back and forth, speaking quickly about numbers that were dropping too fast. The giant hologram of the planetary shield flickered with long cracks of fading light. Every second, it looked weaker. Princess Leora stayed close behind Corin. She walked slowly, not wanting to disturb him but also feeling a responsibility to stand by him now. She watched his calm movements as he studied the hologram. His eyes moved steadily and carefully, never rushing, never showing panic. She admired that more than she expected. The chief engineer stepped forward. "Human Corin, the secondary circuits collapsed last night. We cannot restart them." Corin nodded and moved toward the main console. He placed his hands gently on the controls and scanned the readings. After a long moment, he said softly, "You were right to call for help. The problem is deep inside the system, beyond the outer panels." Leora felt her heart tighten. "Can it be fixed?" Corin gave a thoughtful nod. "Yes. But it's more dangerous than we thought." Leora stepped closer. "Explain it to me." Corin pointed at the hologram. "The shield core has an inner chamber that controls the energy flow. Normally, it adjusts itself. But now, someone will need to go inside and hold the stabilizer arms in place while I repair the energy lines." The room went silent. The chief engineer's voice shook. "That chamber is exposed to strong energy waves. It is difficult to enter." Corin turned to Leora. Someone must go inside for about 20 minutes. They will not be harmed if they follow instructions carefully, but it must be someone steady and focused. Leora looked at him without fear. Then I will go. Her guard stepped forward instantly. Princess, no, you cannot risk. She lifted a hand, stopping them. My people are in danger. I will not stand behind others and watch them risk themselves for my mistakes. Corin watched her quietly. This time, she did not sense disappointment in his eyes. Instead, she saw something new: respect. He gave a slow nod. If you truly want to do this, I will guide you. Leora stood tall. I am ready. Corin led her to a small preparation room where protective suits hung on the wall. The suit was light but strong, meant to keep the wearer safe from unstable energy waves. Corin helped her seal the suit properly, checking each clip and panel with careful hands. Leora watched him work. You have done this many times? Corin smiled slightly. Not this exact system, but humans work with dangerous machines all the time. We learn quickly. Leora lowered her eyes. You should not have to guide someone like me. You deserved better. Corin paused for a moment but kept his voice gentle. Princess, helping others is not a burden, but being treated with kindness makes it easier. Leora felt warmth rise in her chest. She wanted to tell him that she was trying, that she wanted to change, but the words felt heavy again. Instead, she simply said, Thank you. When the suit was ready, Corin handed her a small comm device. Keep this on. I will guide you step by step from the console. She nodded. Before she entered the chamber, Corin spoke again. Remember, you must stay calm. If anything feels frightening, just breathe slowly and listen to my voice. Leora felt her heartbeat quicken, but she met his eyes. I trust you. Corin blinked slowly, a quiet emotion passing through his gaze. I won't let anything happen to you. The inner chamber of the shield core opened with a soft hiss. Light danced along the walls in soft waves of gold and blue. The room was warm, and the hum of energy made her feel like she was standing inside the heart of the planet. Leora stepped inside, and the door sealed behind her. For a moment, she felt completely alone, just her breathing and the soft vibrations around her. Then Corin's calm voice came through the comm. Princess, can you hear me? Yes, she whispered. Good. Walk forward to the central platform. She followed his instructions. Each step felt heavy but steady. She reached a circular panel where two stabilizer arms were slowly shifting out of alignment. They sparkled with golden energy. Corin spoke again. Place your hands on the grips gently. Hold them steady. I will start fixing the lines from here. Leora placed her hands on the device. A soft warmth entered her palms. The stabilizer arms wobbled slightly, but she held them with both hands. She focused on Corin's voice. You are doing well, he said softly. Just keep your hands steady. I will start routing the energy. Leora breathed slowly. The vibrations increased, but she kept her grip. As he worked, Corin continued to speak calm, steady, comforting. Do not fear the light. It is normal. You are holding it perfectly. You are stronger than you think. Leora closed her eyes, letting his voice guide her. She had never felt so trusted before. No one had ever given her important work without doubting her. No one had spoken to her with such quiet certainty. After several minutes, she whispered, Corin, why do you talk so calmly? Even now? Corin chuckled softly. Humans learn this from experience. When things are dangerous, panic makes everything worse. Calm minds fix problems. Leora smiled under her helmet. You make it sound easy. It's not easy, Corin replied. But it is simple. One breath at a time. The stabilizer arms shook suddenly, and energy flashed across the chamber. Leora's grip tightened. Corin, she gasped. He responded quickly. I see it. Do not let go. This is just a pulse wave. The shaking continued for a few seconds before settling down. Leora's arms trembled, but she stayed firm. Corin spoke gently. You did perfectly. Only a few more moments. Leora felt her heart swell with determination. She kept her hands steady, telling herself she would not fail, not when her world depended on this, not when Corin had trusted her. Then Corin's voice grew serious. Princess, we have a new problem. Leora's breath quickened. What happened? The energy lines are overheating. I need to step inside the secondary panel. It will release a burst of power. I can shield you from it. But I must act fast. Leora's chest tightened. No, it is too dangerous for you. Corin spoke calmly again. I know what I am doing. You just keep the stabilizer arms steady. She wanted to argue, to tell him to stay safe. But she knew now Corin was someone who helped without hesitation. Someone who protected others without showing fear. She whispered, "Be careful." Corin did not answer immediately. She heard his footsteps and the sound of metal shifting. Then, the energy in the chamber surged. A wave of bright light flashed. Leora cried out, "Corin!" She held the stabilizer arms tighter than before. Her arms trembled with effort, but she refused to let go. Corin's breath came through the calm but strained. It's okay. I'm fine. The burst hit the suit, but it didn't pass through. Leora felt a rush of relief. Her voice trembled. Do not scare me like that again. Corin laughed softly, even though his breathing was uneven. I'll try, but you're doing amazing. I need just 2 more adjustments. Leora felt warmth in her chest, not from the chamber, but from his voice. She kept holding, her arms burning, but her heart steady. Finally, Corin spoke the words she had been hoping for. Princess. We did it. The core is stable. The chamber lights softened. The vibrations faded. The stabilizer arms settled into place. Leora slowly released her grip. Her arms felt weak, but her heart felt strong. The door opened. Corin stood on the other side. His suit slightly scorched, but his expression gentle. When Leora stepped out, she saw the faint marks on his sleeves. Where the energy had hit him, her eyes softened. You took the burst to protect me. Corin smiled quietly. You were doing your part. I was doing mine. Leora looked at him with a warm, grateful expression she had never shown anyone before. Corin, thank you. Truly, he nodded. Your bravery saved the planet. You held the stabilizer perfectly. She shook her head softly. I could not have done anything without your voice guiding me. Corin's smile grew a little. Then we saved the shield together. As the two walked back toward the control center, the engineers cheered. The hologram of the shield showed new, bright lines of stable energy. The sky outside began to glow steadily again. But Leora barely heard the applause. Her eyes stayed on Corin, the human who had changed her heart without ever raising his voice. And as she walked beside him, she realized she trusted him more deeply than she had ever trusted anyone.